Hi, this is Judy Collins from Judy's House of Oldies, and you're listening to Hear Women Talk Radio on the Zeus Radio Network.
And welcome back to Hear Women Tell. This is Chris Hillenberg, your host, and this is where we interview professional storytellers to get the story behind the story. And today we've had the pleasure of speaking with Corinne Stavish. And Corinne, I know you've got a story for us, so I'd love to hear it.
When Gone with the Wind was re-released in 1954 for its 15th anniversary, I was 9 years old. I was living in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the time, and I went to see that movie with my mama and her friend, Mrs. Frank. As the movie ended, I noticed that they both took out these little fans from their purses, and they were moving them rapidly. Both women were flushed and flustered, fanning themselves furiously. I walked behind them, and I heard Mrs. Frank say, "Well, I declare that Rhett Butler is a scoundrel." My mama turned to her and said, "I'm not sure about Rhett Butler, and I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, that Clark Gable can put his shoes under my bed any time he wants." Whoa, I thought. What was my mama going to do with Clark Gable's shoes? She already had more than enough to do polishing my daddy's. But if Mama wanted to collect male movie star shoes, I was determined to help her. Mama, look at Fred Astaire. His shoes are so highly polished they hardly need any work, and oh, they just glide across the dance floor. Nah, that Fred Astaire is too skinny. But his shoes aren't. I tried again. Mama, Gene Kelly's shoes are terrific. They get all wet from splashing in the puddles, and they're still shiny. Oh, and then he twirls the umbrella. Oh, Mama, you can have the shoes. Can I take the umbrella? Nah, that Gene Kelly's too athletic. Well, yeah, isn't that the point? It took me all the way to the 6th grade. On that day, when they separated the boys from the girls and showed us that Facts of Life film strip named for a feminine hygiene product, for me to begin to figure out that it wasn't the shoes Mom was interested in, it was who was filling them. Well, pretty soon, Clark Gable had to move over and make room for Cary Grant. Oh, that Cary Grant. He's so debonair, witty, charming. Mama, you can tell all that from his shoes. And then when I was a freshman in high school, Mama and I were back living in the Bronx, and I would go to the movies with her and her friend Gladys. We went to see an end-of-the-world disaster movie called The World, the Flesh, and the Devil. It starred Harry Belafonte, Inger Stevens, and Mel Ferrar. Now, Harry Belafonte and Mel Ferrar are both in love with Inger Stevens, but times being what they were, Mel Ferrar got the girl. As we left the movie, I heard Gladys's social commentary to my mother. "Well, I wasn't sure which one she would end up with, but I'm glad she went with that nice Mel Ferrar." Mama turned to Gladys and said, "I don't know about Mel Ferrar, and I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, that Harry Belafonte can put his shoes under my bed any time he wants." But pretty soon, Clark and Carrie and Harry all had to move over and make room for Paul Newman. Oh, Mama flat out fell in love with Paul Newman when he started making movies. And when the movie Exodus came out, well, there was just no living with her. In addition to wanting his shoes under her bed, because his character, Ari Ben-Kanan, had the sands of Israel all over them, Mama added to her usual refrain, I wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating crackers. Whoa! Nobody in our house was allowed to have food anywhere near a bedroom, and Mama was going to let Paul Newman in bed with crackers? Well, I had just started college when the first James Bond movie came out. I went back to the Bronx and took Mama to see Dr. No. We were sitting in the darkened movie. It was during that scene on the beach where Sean Connery and Ursula Andress are on the beach, clenched in a passionate embrace. Mama leaned over and whispered, I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, that James Bond can put his shoes under my bed anytime he wants. Mama, he's barefoot. Even better. It'll save time. And then I moved back to New York when I graduated from college. And that year, I gave Mama her 50th birthday party and noticed she had just stopped collecting male movie star shoes. I figured her interest had gone the way of her hot flashes, just sort of withered up and died. I wasn't certain because that Facts of Life film strip named for a feminine hygiene product had not covered advanced material. And then about a decade later, I was living in Evanston with my family, and Mama came for a nice long visit. We took her to see Star Wars so that she could understand what all the fuss was about and know basically what to get the kids from their Hanukkah and birthday wish lists. When the movie was over, the kids acted out all of the white-knuckle scenes and explained the evils of the evil empire and the virtues of Luke Skywalker. And after the kids were in bed, Mama said to me as we sat over our cups of coffee at the kitchen table, that Luke Skywalker is really cute. I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, that Han Solo can put his shoes under my bed any time he wants. Whoa! I was shocked. You see, my mother and I had never discussed sex. I always thought that she thought that it was a four-letter word with a silent E on the end. I also figured that she assumed that anything I ever needed to know about that subject I had learned in that Facts of Life film strip that I had seen in the 6th grade. But that night, when my 60-something mother confessed to her 30-something daughter that she lusted after a young Harrison Ford, well, that was the best mother-daughter sex talk we could have ever had, because that was the night she gave me what every maturing woman needs: hope. It was her best gift to me. That, and leaving me her male movie star shoe collection with a box of crackers when she died. Now, recently, a friend of mine gave me the DVD of Chocolat. She knows that I'm a huge Johnny Depp fan. As I rewatched the movie, I couldn't help but notice that as Johnny Depp led Juliette Binoche to his room on that boat with all the candles lit, well, his shoes were kind of shabby. I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, that Johnny Depp can put his shoes under my bed anytime he wants, because there's still plenty of room next to Clark Gable, Cary Grant, Harry Belafonte, Paul Newman, Sean Connery, and Harrison Ford.
Oh, that's a great story, Corinne.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's awesome. You know, Jay O'Callahan said something about the glow that you have on stage. I would have loved to have seen you tell this in person, and hopefully someday I will. But just a quick final question. Do you ever get nervous before you go on stage?
Oh, always. It's the key to success. It's how you keep the gods and goddesses at bay. You show them that you're humble. But it's the kind of nerves that are from excitement rather than from fear, unless it's a brand new story. And there's a quote, Edwin Newman, you're a journalist, so you'll remember the great Edwin Newman. It's one of my favorite quotes, and I tell it to all of my speech students. He said, "The difference between the amateurs and the pros is that the pros make the butterflies fly in formation."
That's a great quote, too. Wow. Well, let's let people know how to get in touch with you, Corinne. Your website, again, is www.stavishstorytelling.com, which is STAVISH. How else can they get in touch with you?
They can send me email at cstavish@stavishstorytelling.com, or they can telephone me. Is that okay to give out the number?
Sure, yeah. If you want to, go ahead.
Sure, 248-356-8721.
I've had such fun talking with you today, Corinne. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for inviting me.
It's great. Well, this is Chris Hillenberg with Hear Women Tell, where we interview professional storytellers like Corinne Stavish to get the story behind the story. Stay tuned, because next we have news and reviews.